Namaskar. I am Chetan Venugopal, Chartered Accountant based in Bangalore. As a professional, I have co-founded a company called Pyrian Services Private Limited with my partner Shri C.A. Gurunath Kanattur. We both started this company in 2002, end of 2002, December, January, early 2003. As a company, we are focused in providing finance and accounting services on an outsourced model. We are into business consulting, business process engineering, and HR services. I am presently a co-opted member of Young Members Empowerment Committee of ICAI. Our chairman, Shri Praful Premsukh, wanted me to actually share my experiences having started a company like this and how we have been able to manage and scale this company. Today, as a company, we have scaled to almost 500 plus finance professionals, more than 35-40 chartered accountants, and they're all working in India as well as in overseas locations. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our President of ICAI, Shri C.A.K. Raghu, and our Chairman of Young Members Empowerment Committee, Shri Praful, for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences with all of you and as to how we have built this company, as well as give some insights into some of the opportunities that are available for chartered accountants who can actually start a company like this and scale it to greater heights. Gurunath and I started Pyrian in 2002, but as partners we have been associated since 1992. We started our careers together, having qualified in 1992. We set up Chetan and Gurunath Chartered Accountants in practice for about 7 years. And in 99, both of us kind of decided to get into industry, get a feel of industry. And in Bangalore then was a big thing for IT, and I joined an IT services company as Vice President Finance and Administration, and Gurunath joined a leading multinational company heading their shared service. So we were in industry for about 4 years. So before starting Pyrian, we both come with a practice experience as well as industry experience. And today when we reflect and think about it, I think both were very, very good thing that happened to us, to have been able to build Pyrian and to grow Pyrian. We really thank for both the experience that we have been able to get before we started Pyrian. When I worked in the industry, one of the things that I must confess is that the opportunity to work with professionals from an engineering background or a management background gave me a lot of insights into how to build and grow a business. I think that has also helped me in good stead when we started Pyrian. In 2002, when Gurunath and I met again and said, why don't we do something on our own, the entrepreneur bug kind of bit us again, but we really didn't know what to do. At that point in time, we deliberated a bit on what to do, and then we met quite a few of our friends, well-wishers, and checked with them as to what is the opportunity that we should explore and look at as entrepreneurs. One of our common friend actually suggested that we get into finance and accounting. I think that made a lot of sense for us because at that point in time, not many firms or companies were into finance and accounting outsourcing. So we decided to get together, get into finance and accounting, and start our journey in this company. And when we started, we never really thought, to be honest, that we will grow to a 500 plus company and have offices in almost major cities of India or in other parts of the country. Definitely not. What we wanted to do is have a career option, just build and grow along the way. But I think there were a good few things that we did which probably helped us to scale the way we have done. And if I recollect that, and if you recall, and what are the things that we actually did, which I think was right, is to have a good team, good management team. To begin with, promoters. You should have partners or promoters who are like-minded, who actually think long-term and want to build company over a period of time and not for a short-term ventures. So I think that was very important. I think Gurunath and I complemented each other with our skill sets. I think that helped us to kind of manage this company. And then not only promoters, what is also important is to get a second line of team. So management team and the second line of team will help you to give a scale to grow. That was very important. I think having a decent infrastructure, because today most clients would like to see a good office of the service provider or chartered accountants firms. Gone are the days when I did my articles, which was a decent office. But I've seen a number of CA firms, they were not very conscious about the place that they used to work, because for them quality of work was all about. Definitely yes, but I think today things have changed, the profile of clients have changed, the expectations from them are very different. Also the expectations of the employees are different. They want to work in a good atmosphere, they want to work in a good environment. So I think we should have, besides a good team, good office space, very easily accessible to the people, well organized, and those are the things that you should look at. Thirdly is about process and technology, because if you have to scale as a company, you have to have well defined processes, you need to have a lot of technology essentially to enable you to be more productive and efficient in your services and to provide good quality services. I think these are some of the important things that I think are essential. And to grow, you also need to have a decent sales and marketing strategy in place where you're able to brand yourself and market your services to your potential customers. And if you do these things right, then there's a good chance that you will scale up and grow as a company. What I also want to share with you is some of the opportunities that are available for chartered accountants to look at in the BPO KPO space. And these are essentially targeted towards corporates. I'm not going to talk about individuals or non-corporate associates. The services that I want to talk about is essentially what you can focus for corporate customers. And I'm going to start this presentation. I'd now like to give a quick insight into some of the opportunities that are available for chartered accountants to be working with corporates. I have kind of categorized that into three categories: globalization of economies, traditional practice, and emerging opportunities. Globalization of economies has resulted in about 4 areas of service that I could think of. One is international taxation, inbound and outbound investments, business valuation, and cross-border mergers and acquisition. When you talk about international taxation, transfer pricing and double taxation avoidance agreements are great opportunities. Chartered accountants, if they're able to build deep knowledge and understanding on these 2 areas, I think they can play an extremely important role as in an advisory capacity, help preparation of transfer pricing reports, and also go to the authorities and represent the clients whenever there is a need for presenting the transfer pricing reports to the authorities and justify the arm's length principles. That's about international taxation. Inbound and outbound investments you can look at as an advisory capacity. Today, India, with a lot more stability coming in its political scenario, and as well as the confidence that is coming back into the Indian economic scenario, I think there is going to be a lot more activities in terms of inbound investments. And similarly, a lot of Indian corporates, once they feel more confident, there will be a lot more outbound investments opportunities coming in way. So chartered accountants can actually position themselves as advisors to these corporates, help these companies, inbound companies, with their setup activities, advise them on various FEMA regulations. Similarly, any outbound investments advisory, you could be advising your clients on what are the right things to do. You could help them in debt restructuring, financial options. You can help companies in setting up SEZs. So these are some of the opportunities that I see in inbound and outbound investments. Business valuation is another great opportunity that you can look at. The institute ICAI has got a certified program and business valuation, which I think is a very good certificate, and which you should look at getting certified. Valuation has multiple facets, valuation of business enterprises, it could be valuation of financial assets or intangible assets, real estate. These are some of the areas that you could get into valuation. And as we know, valuations takes place on multiple counts. It could be because of investment decisions, it could be because of litigation, or it could be because of tax and strategic planning, mergers and acquisitions. So there are multiple opportunities that comes in for the purpose of business valuation. And when we look at cross-border mergers and acquisition today, with a lot of changes that has taken place in the Companies Act 2013, helping the cross-border mergers and acquisitions to take place in a much more easier manner. That gives an opportunity for chartered accountants again to work as advisors, to work as investment bankers. In terms of financial and legal due diligence, you can advise private equity firms in terms of financial structuring. So these are some of the opportunities that comes as cross-border mergers and acquisitions. Outsourcing, this is an area that me and my company has focused over the last 11 years, so I have a little bit more strong insights into this knowledge process outsourcing, because I for one don't believe finance and accounting can actually be classified as a BPO, because there's a lot of knowledge that goes into delivering the service to the customer. So essentially there's a part of BPO, but there's a lot of KPO that goes into finance and accounting outsourcing. So today customers look for an end-to-end accounting outsourcing, because they look for your bookkeeping services, they look for your compliance management, your vendor management, payroll, management reporting. So a lot of areas that you could focus on. The clients generally they want to focus on their core activities and want a good service provider to manage all of that needs to be done along the finance and accounting domain. Besides finance and accounting, I also see opportunities in the area of market analysis, equity research, financial modeling, and business process reengineering. These are some of the other areas of opportunities as chartered accountants we can look for. And another area that you can also look at is shared CFO services. Today there are many number of small and medium sized enterprises. They are struggling to get their finances in place. They have a lot of passion and desire to build businesses, but unfortunately they are unable to afford quality people, quality professionals to help them to manage their finances. So if you want to look at shared service CFOs, if you can build certain expertise in those areas, that can be a great opportunity, because you need to help small to medium sized companies to build financial discipline, prepare them for future investment that would come into their company, and ensure that in future whenever there is a due diligence that happens from an investor, they are able to pass those tests with flying colors. I think there is a great opportunity to help management teams to manage their finances better. Some of the emerging opportunities that I can look at is corporate governance is one area, strategy mapping and balance scorecard is another, and process engineering is one of them. Under corporate governance, it talks about designing code of conduct, governance, risk management, internal control framework. These are some of the things that corporate governance as an option that you can look at. Next is strategy mapping. Under strategy mapping, you can look at provides a framework that not only provides performance measurement, it also helps planners to identify what should be done and measured. It's a management system. Basically, it's a management system that will enable organizations to clarify their vision and strategy and to translate them into action. Dr. Kaplan and Dr. Norton have actually developed a balanced scorecard on 4 perspectives: financial, customer, internal business process, and learning and growth. Financial, to succeed financially, how should we appear to our shareholders? Customer, to achieve our vision, how should we appear to our customers? Internal business process, to satisfy our shareholders and customer, what business processes must we excel at? Learning and growth, to achieve our vision, how will we sustain our ability to change and improve? So this is a brief about strategy mapping and balanced scorecard. If you wish to more about it, I will recommend that you read the book by Professor Robert Kaplan and Dr. David Norton. It's a very nice book, very well written and easy to understand. The next area that one could focus is business process engineering. I think that is gaining a lot of momentum nowadays, especially in a scenario where small companies are scaling up to become medium-sized companies, and medium-sized companies are scaling up to become large companies. You have an opportunity where clients would like to look at the way their current processes are functioning from an efficiency standpoint, from a productivity standpoint. So it gives an opportunity where you are able to help companies to identify the risk, the controls that are existing in the current process, and help them by identifying these risks and suggesting controls, mitigating controls to address these risks that you see when you carry out a process engineering exercise. So what do we mean by process reengineering? Reengineering is a fundamental rethinking and redesign of a business process to achieve a dramatic and rapid improvements in critical and contemporary measures of performance, such as cost, quality, service, and speed. So when you do a process engineering, the client is looking at optimizing his cost because of that effort. He wants to ensure that the quality of his work or the process is improved significantly, is able to provide better service to the stakeholders, and the speed in which they are delivered. So these are the things that is the objective of when somebody carries out a process engineering. And one should know that when you do a process engineering, it's not about automation, it's not about downsizing, it's not about outsourcing. And as I had explained earlier, it's about optimizing your cost, improving the quality of your service, speed, productivity, it's all of that. How do we do that? What is the cycle of a process engineering? First and foremost, you identify what are the process that needs to be re-engineered. The client, actually you have a discussion with the client and identify the process. It could be order to cash or procure to pay, record to report, compliances. There are multiple processes that one could look at for process engineering. So you do identify the process, then you do an as-is study, basically trying to understand how is the current process working, identify what are the risks, the controls that are there in those processes, what is the KPIs or SODs that are currently in place, and then you go about redesigning this whole process to make it more effective and efficient, and then discuss this revised process with the client, and then get back to them with test and implementing those process that has been redesigned. Now, when we are talking about process engineering and process quality, I'm sure these are some of the things that you are already aware of. These are the popular frameworks. One is Six Sigma, which was invented by Motorola in 1986. You're talking about Kaizen, which is very popular with the Japanese companies. It's about eliminating waste in your processes. They want to ensure that you are absolutely lean and mean when you perform your job. There's a lean process management as well. Which is again elimination of waste in the process. The next area that I would like to focus is financial transactions reporting. Basically, we have three things here: XBRL, IFRS, and forensic accounting, and all of this I'm sure you're all familiar with. XBRL reporting system has transformed the way financial reporting is done today, and the way which is being used as well. It has enabled us to prepare reports which are error free, because these are basically mapped into a recognized taxonomy, and it helps to address errors. So that's one area. IFRS is something it's been spoken, and a lot of programs have already been conducted. So that's something that you're all aware of it. I would not like to spend too much time on that. Forensic accounting. Now, demand for forensic accounting has been increasing by the day. In terms of the frauds that is being committed, all of this has led to the need for specialized experts in accounting in the area of forensic accounting. So the introduction of Companies Act 2013 has also had a significant impact in fighting and preventing frauds. Forensic accountants are usually, as you know, they are engaged by companies when litigation is anticipated or suspected. A forensic accountant generally utilizes his understanding of business information and financial reporting systems, accounting standards and procedures to investigate some form of economic crime. So these are the three areas under financial reporting. Then we move on to traditional practice. Traditional practice, you're talking about specialization in the Companies Act or ESOP. Again, ESOP is something I'm sure it's become so common nowadays in terms of designing ESOP plans, registering ESOP trusts, monitoring ESOP schemes. So these are an area that typically you could also focus. Nominee directors today, because the Companies Act has made it mandatory for every foreign company to have at least one local director, resident director. So that has given opportunities for professionals like us to be director on those boards. You can look at labor laws in terms of PF, ESI, luxury tax, entertainment tax. These are some of the areas that you could look at to focus. And then direct and indirect tax, and these are something that all of us know pretty well in terms of advisory services, tax filing and compliance, appeals and proceedings, indirect taxes, be it customs and excise, service tax, VAT, and internal audit. So these are the areas I wanted to share as opportunities for us chartered accountants to be focusing on if you want to have corporates as your customers. With this, I would like to move on and kind of give you some insights into what you should look at to kind of build a company, manage a company and grow. It could be in terms of see, the next thing that I wanted to kind of share with you people is about delivery. It's so important that our deliverable to the customers have to be right. It has to be of high quality, it should be timely, so that the customer is happy with our service. Now, what we have done with our delivery is that we have created a shared service in finance and accounting for both our domestic as well as our offshore customers. And in terms of shared service, without going too much into depth, that has given us the ability to scale our operations in a significant way. We are able to add more customers without actually increasing the people. I think the best way for any business to grow is not to be linear. You should not be too much people dependent. You can only do that if you have the right process and if you implement right technologies and constantly work on them to improve it as you start growing. You should have a robust delivery platform, basically, as I said again, built on good process and technology, and consistently see that you are improving them. So these are some of the things that I wanted to share. Next, I want to show or share with you aspects of client management, and as well as how do we market our services and brand our services, and how we have been doing the same thing. Now, for this, I would like to use the book, excerpts of the book that is going to be released shortly by the Young Members Empowerment Committee, which has come out with an excellent book for young practitioners, which gives an excellent insight into how do you start your practice, right from a setup to the constitution of your firm or constitution of your business, the infrastructure. It's about marketing your firm, it's about managing your clients, about IT infrastructure. There's a whole lot of insights that has been documented in the book, and I'm sure a lot of young practitioners will find it very useful when they start their practice and start building that. And next, I want to use that. I'd like to give you some insights into this document or the book that has been prepared by Young Members Empowerment Committee. From there, I will also focus a little bit more on client relationship and sales and marketing from that book. Now, this is the book that is going to be released by Young Members Empowerment Committee very soon. A book which is titled A Carve a Career Limited Only by Your Dreams, The Essential Roadmap for Young Practitioners. This book, under the chairmanship of Shri C.A. Praful, a team of 6 chartered accountants including me, we have worked on this book to provide young chartered accountants with an insight about what are the things that they need to do to get a business started or profession started, and what are the areas that they need to focus when they start building their profession. Now, broadly, the contents are setup of a practice, adapting to a changing world, there are pointers to specialization, what are the importance of a good infrastructure, about marketing and branding yourself or your firm, client relationship, talks about staffing in HR management, revenue management, workflow management, document management system, audit techniques and tools, audit programs, and some best practices. Now, I'm sure when you see all of these areas, each one of them are very critical when you're running your profession, and this book gives you a lot of good pointers and ideas on how to manage with each one of them. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to focus on 2 aspects, which is basically about client relationship and branding and marketing. These are the areas that I just like to highlight in my talk or presentation, and the rest of it is all available in the book. A brief talk about client relationship. One may have the best of teams, the best of infrastructure, technology, process, et al., but none of them would be of any relevance if we do not know how to manage our relationship with our customers. Today, clients' expectations are very high. They expect specialized services from their chartered accountants and service providers. They want all of this at a very competitive price. They expect you to provide value to their business, which means that you should have a good understanding of not only their business, but as well as the industry in which they are working. I think one of the very important aspects about a client relationship is communication with customers. You should have a very open and transparent communication channels with your customers and keep them informed. Even if things have not happened as per the expectations delivered, it's very important that you openly discuss that with the client, and that is much more appreciated than a situation where you're trying to cover up something for your customers. I think those are very important aspects. One of the important things again is about understanding what the requirements are. It's been our experience also, to be honest, as well as we've seen around, that a lot of times things do get done without understanding what the client's expectations or requirements were, and then when the time has come to deliver, there's a clear unhappiness on both sides, one having spent the time and the other side on the client side, why have these guys not understood what is expected to do. So I think it's very important when we commence anything to be doubly sure what the client would want from you, and you know what is expected from the client. Having understood what needs to be done, it needs to be delivered on time. That's also very important. And if some reason you are not able to deliver on time, instead of just letting the time pass, you need to proactively engage the client and inform them about the challenges that you are facing currently for not being able to deliver on time. That's much more appreciated by the clients. And one has to be very proactive with your relationship with your customers. The other thing I'm sure the clients are looking for is the scalability of the CA firm or the service provider, because today there are so many regulations and compliances that the client has to adhere to, and it is difficult for him to move from one CA firm to another seeking for services in those areas. So what he is ideally looking for is in a CA firm which is able to provide all the relevant services for him as a one-point contact, as a one-stop solution is what they are looking at. So we have to demonstrate to the client our ability to scale up based on their requirements. Today the clients are expecting constant updates on amendments to their various legislations, those things that are affecting their business or industry. So you need to be able to provide that. What it means, sum and substance, is managing today's client's relationship is an extremely challenging job, and one has to be consciously and proactively working on that. I don't think it's good to take client's relationships for granted. What it also means is that our teams have to be trained not only on technical areas but as well as on soft skills, and in dealing with customers, situations, communication with them, presentations. I think all of that is very important in today's professional work. Next, I wanted to share some insights into branding and marketing, generally what we have been doing in the last few years. In today's highly competitive professional environment, it is important for your firm to be visible to the prospective customers, to the prospective employees, to your own customers and employees, because that gives them a sense of pride, of being associated with a known brand. Today, most commonly used form of marketing or branding is social media. We all know about social media, so don't want to dwell too much on that. So very important for one to have a website. The website should clearly articulate as to what the firm or the company is into, so that the customers or the prospective customers are aware or understanding the firm's services. Having website is not just the only thing, because you don't want to have a website which is not being visited or browsed by people, because that can happen only if you are constantly working with a service provider to get your website being ranked on the top 5 of that particular thing, which means it's called SEO. So you have to pay attention to the SEO and ensure that you're getting a higher visibility. Whenever a customer looks for a chartered accountant's firm, your firm should be able to pop up there on the top 5, and he's able to actually access your website. It's also good to keep looking at redesigning your website once in a few, I would say a year at least, so that new contents can come into the website, new information can come in there, and the customers would be able to understand what you have grown as a firm. So as I said, very important is to ensure that traffic is driven to your website on a constant basis. So SEO could be a good option to get into that. You should be able to convert your the regular browsers into users, and from users to customers. So that's a very important thing. You need to constantly monitor that. You could also use your website, you could use the blog option on your website to constantly publish some written articles, and link them with various LinkedIn groups, which people will be able to read and revert back, and that's a good way of keeping your customers or prospective customers constantly engaged with you. Also, it'd be good to have a FAQ, frequently asked questions, because instead of client calling you all the time and getting answers to some of the mundane or the regular information, it is always good to have such an FAQ posted on your website, so that saves the trouble of you picking up a call and answering that, and that saves the client calling you. You can just visit your website and get those information. Today, a lot of firms are circulating newsletters to their clients. I think it's a good way to keep your clients informed about updations in the regulations, amendments in the rules and regulations, and generally keeping them updated with your activities and progress that you have made as a firm. Besides all of that, the traditional form of networking, that is attending conferences, seminars, is a good thing to continue to do with, and also collaborate with like-minded professionals, so that you are able to form a team and deliver multidisciplinary services to a client. So instead of client looking at one firm, this could be one way to have a network of like-minded professionals, so that you are able to provide a composite services to the client. So branding and marketing again is very important, and today I think social media is there for us to be seen and read by our customers. And again, all of this is subject to the regulations of ICAI. I hope you will find the information that I have shared during the course of this presentation useful to you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our President, Shri C.A.K. Raghu, Chairman, Shri Prafulji, all the committee members of Young Members Empowerment Committee, and the staff and team of Young Members Empowerment Committee for all the support and encouragement they have given to me during the course of preparation of this Young Members Practitioners Kit. My special thanks to the team that helped me to put together this kit: C.A. Vishnumurthy, C.A. Yatish, C.A. Sachin, C.A. Vivek, and C.A. Ravi Prasad, who have all contributed immensely for preparation of this book. Thank you all, and wishing you all the very best.